In a related development, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has announced that its operatives have seized a multi-billion naira illicit drugs warehouse at the International Trade Fair Complex in Lagos. The Anti-Narcotic agency disclosed that items recovered from the warehouse, allegedly owned by a wanted billionaire drug baron, include 1.4 million pills of tramadol, weighing about 826 kilograms, 3.2 million pills of codeine with gross weight of 3,360 kilograms, and 2,841 cartons of codeine syrup containing 284,100 bottles with 28,410 liters of the psychoactive substance with a combined street value of over 4.8 billion naira. This was announced in a statement issued on Sunday by Femi Babafemi, the Director, Media and Advocacy, NDLEA, headquartered in Abuja. According to a statement, a suspect, Paulinus Ojuku, a security aide to the wanted drug baron, was arrested and is now assisting ongoing investigation. To discuss this, I'm being joined by Dr. Tunde Belemo, who is a medical doctor. Thank you so much for joining us. Hello, doctor. Can you hear me? Hello, doctor. You may need to unmute your device so that we can hear you. All right. Hello, doctor. Can you hear me? I'm just going to try for the last time.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes. Thank you so much for joining us. Now we can hear you. Let's start this way. We are talking about recovery and rehabilitation process in Nigeria for drug abusers. And now we're having issues of taboos, religious stigmatization and sentiments playing a role in decelerating the healing process and the success that could have been recorded. How do we deal with these bottlenecks?
Thank you so much for having me. Yes, there's been a very, very huge bottlenecks in dealing with issues such as drug abuse in our society based on some of the factors you have highlighted. And this is not only peculiar to drug abuse, it's also peculiar to, it's also found in some other issues such as mental health related issues. One of the ways of dealing with it is what we are doing now, creating awareness and orientation, sensitization of people, that's the general populace now, about drug abuse and about the rehabilitation process of people who are involved in it, not stigmatizing them, and also trying as much as possible to look out for some of the signs that we could identify in some of those people who are abusers of drugs, because it is when you identify that you can help them. Some of them got into it through peer pressure or through unhealthy coping mechanism because they want to cope with maybe socioeconomic distress or any stress of life they are going through, and maybe ignorantly, or some of them got into it because they want their experience, or they want to experience the what I call the get high syndrome in one way or the other. So be it ignorantly or intentionally, drug abusers are people who need some help. And the society will do more damage to them if we reject them. Yes, does that really do away with some law-related issues like enforcement against abusers? Not at all. But the major and important solution that we need to first and foremost take cognizant of is to really look for a way of getting these people, rehabilitating them, and then sensitizing the general population so that the incoming people or the people who are in having the or nursing the intention of becoming a drug abuser somehow will kill that kind of intention.
Let's now talk about the Anti-Narcotic agency that has continued its fight against drug abuse with this latest seizure that has been talked about in a couple of seconds or hours now. How well would you appraise the level of work done by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency in the country, and how do you think they can improve on their work in putting an end to substance abuse in the country?
absolutely laudable. I think what General Buba Marwa retired has done since he got into the office had been absolutely laudable. I mean, earlier on this year, I think there was a statement released from the agency that since 2021 and now, over 24 or 26,000 drug traffickers had been arrested during that period. That's a huge number. But when you look at the rate of people who abuse drugs in our country, running to about 15 million people, according to the United Nations Office of Drugs and Crime, it is still highly infinitesimal. So that means, yes, as much as they have taken giant stride in that regard, there is still a lot of grounds to cover. There is still a lot that needs to be done in or creating war against drug abuse in the country. More orientation needs to be done. There must also be a public and private partnership in providing a form of platform whereby we will get across to the populace. Then I also find out that the National Orientation Agency has a role to play in this, sensitizing people in accordance with the mission and the vision of that particular agency about our stance when it comes to drug and drug abuse in the nation.
Thank you, Kunle Pelemo, for talking to us on the news.